business people, not scientists, then why would they? You know, it's an unnecessary business cost. And I think that was, you know, when thalidomide, there was, you know, as an example, I read some, I can't believe that story. And I just say, anybody who hasn't read about thalidomide has to read about thalidomide. But, you know, if you don't have to, you won't do it. That's human nature. Like, we all take the easiest path most of the time. That's how society works. So if there's no requirements to jump over that hurdle, why would you? And so you know, when I say a hurdle, I think it's just good practice that we need to do good research. And I know, you know, it's hard to do surgical research, but it's also hard to get funding to do surgical research because there's no, you know, I know I retired from ICU a little while ago, but in the ICU, there is all kinds of funding because we study medications. And so there is all kinds of infrastructure supplied by industry because they're required to. In surgery, there's nothing because we're not required to. And I think that's a fundamental disconnect, that internists use drugs, we use devices. And why are they different? Because they both have potential to hurt people.
Even because, in my opinion, if we don't take this responsibility, the market is going to do it for us. Because as you remarked in your paper, and I quote you again, although accurate data are not available, the internet will suggest that there are more lawyers specializing in litigating hernia, mesh, then there are surgeons specializing in mesh hernia repair. And these lawyers seems to enjoy a greater degree of confidence regarding evidence appraisal, as they dramatically inform patients as to, for example, the symptoms that allergies to mesh produce while soliciting business. Everyone among us who make evidence assessment knows how challenging it is to do it, especially in the time when we use grade to assessment of evidence. So people out there are taught to master evidence synthesis better than clinicians. And in my opinion, if we don't take this task, if we don't take this responsibility, the market and the lawyers are going to do it on our behalf.
Yeah. You know, I was amazed, and again, please bring me back if I missed. It's literally, it's a hearing thing. I have hearing aids, but I only use them for flying airplanes. Other than that, I leave them at home. But I was amazed late at night when I'm Googling, you know, mesh, and it's just, even in Canada, and I know it's worse in the States, how it was endless legal sites looking to recruit patients for legal action. And I just go, I can't believe how many there are. So that's a very unscientific statement, but at least for Canada, I perceive it to be true, because there's very few there's a lot of great Canadian hernia surgeons, but I don't think there are almost any. If there are, there's just a handful, maybe at the Schuldeis Clinic, who just do hernia. But it seems like there are lawyers that just say that's all they do. They do hernia. And that was the example regarding autoimmune phenomena. Like, does your mesh cause autoimmune disease? And I think I mentioned in the paper that any foreign body will incite an immune system reaction. That's not a disease. That's just normal human physiology. And there was one case report out there that seemed to link mesh with autoimmune diseases, but to my reading and analysis of the literature, that has been debunked as false. So really, you know, us physicians would conclude there's absolutely no link between prosthetic mesh and autoimmune disease that's been established, but yet the lawyers say, you know, oh, that's exactly why you have your autoimmune disease. Come, let me help you sue. And So it is in the absence of great data, there's going to be a vacuum, and that vacuum will attract opportunity for medical legal profit, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So we are going to close this nice discussion, and I leave you with the last statement of your paper, and which probably will leave room for a little debate with Francesco and Pierluigi. You state at the end of your paper, you state that we continue to perform prosthetic mesh-mounted incisional hernia repair, but we believe it is prudent to avoid intra-peritoneal placement of any prosthetic mesh until adequate and conclusive scientific studies have been completed. So is walking on the side of safety our next motto?
That is my personal opinion, and I always have avoided a pure intraperitoneal mesh. I believe it's, and you know, and I could quote the various societies that have also, and authors have concluded the same thing. But my ultimate conclusion is we don't know. You know, if to make a recommendation, I think we just need better data. And I would suggest the next step that I would like to personally see is a World Society of Emergency Surgery consensus paper regarding the questions, and any other organization that has a vested interest, you know, just to review these questions again and to set them up properly to, you know, identify what we need to answer. And that's the first step in answering them. I recognize doing good trials to answer them is really hard. And then finally, again, any opportunity with a microphone or a camera, please call me if anybody has any interest ever in cool. But again, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to speak.
And I like this approach so much because it's a real scientific approach to clinical problems. So I totally agree with you, with your approach, with your mindset, and I hope this nice conversation will enter the heart and the mind of all surgeons who will hear it, because again, this is the real scientific approach we should implement in our daily clinical practice. So thank you for this nice conversation. Pierluigi and Francesco, would you like to say something more?
No, I only think that thank you for your availability and for interesting topics that you spoke about. It was for me a real pleasure to know your opinion about this argument referred by one of the most important surgeon on emergency, and I believe in general surgery too. I have learned a lot, and I hope to transmit your opinion to the Italian group as soon as possible. So I hope to meet you physically, but till now I say thank you very much. We are very, very pleased of your presence. I hope to see you again.
Great. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you also to Pierluigi for this opportunity to let me become an anchorman, I mean, a journalist.
You have been a really anchorman. Very good. You did a good job. If you have some problem with surgery, you may change your job in the future.
Not so bad. Not so bad. Thank you, everyone. To the next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Nice to